All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Thank you for signing up. My name is Bika. I am an implementation consultant here at BoviSync, so I do a lot of one-on-one training with farm employees on how to enter data using our mobile app. We want to cover a lot of info today, so please post any questions you have during the webinar in the chat. We will try to reach out at the end, or we'll follow up after the presentation and get those questions answered in an email. And then my co-presenter today is Scott Muniz. So Scott, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, I'm fairly new with BoviSync. Came to them in November. I'm learning about reports and how farms and their consultants use these reports on the farm for herd analysis. I work with the farm owners, the key managers, and their consultants in BoviSync report training and analytics. And as always, I'm continuing to learn about the program and learn what is how the program helps them.
Alrighty. With that, we'll dive right into how we work with breeding plans with some mobile entry on the app. We'll go through some protocols and then also some of the reports that we can run with BoviSync. So before we get started, to give you a little bit of information on what we're going to share with you, this is what the breeder can see when they go to breed cows. So this is the detail view that we have on the breeder list on the mobile app. The items you see here can be moved around and customized to match the farm's preference. So in this case, we've got cow 8224. She is 96 days in milk and is in her second lactation. She hasn't been bred yet, and so you can see that by her times bred and her day since last breeding, those two fields being empty. At the very bottom, it also shows the RPR-PROT, which is the repro protocol that she is enrolled in. So it shows that she is enrolled into the farm's double BoviSync protocol. For this example, we're using Sire 5 as what this farm uses to tell the breeder which type of semen to use. So the examples we're going to be showing is that we have Sire 5 set up for sexed semen, conventional semen, or beef semen. And we'll show some protocols and reports to show how that runs in the background and how that's all set up. Here we also have Sire 1, 2, and 3 outlined in the purple. Those are used for individual sire matings for the cow. So these can be either entered manually or imported into BoviSync, and I will also touch on that later. With BoviSync, it's possible to have up to 5 sire assignments, and a farm can use these however they choose to do so. So to get started, let's come up with a breeding plan that we would like to follow so that we kind of have an idea of what we want to build with reports and protocols. So let's use this table as an example. We've got for lactation 1, we'd like to service the cows with sexed semen for their first 3 breedings, and conventional semen for the 4th and 5th service, and then beef semen for anything 6 and higher. Lactation 2, we're going to be a bit stricter with the sexed semen and only use it for the first breeding. And then we'll use conventional semen for the 2nd through 5th services, and beef, just like lactation 1, anything 6 and up. And then for lactation 3 and higher, we'll jump right to using conventional semen for the first 4 services, and then beef semen for anything greater than 5. So kind of keep that in mind as we go through and build some of these protocols. So now that we have this breeding plan, we're going to let BoviSync automate the process a little bit by creating protocols to tell the program what we want it to do. So to build an animal report, we're going to go into the reports and into the report wizard. We will click on the Add Item button a few times to fill in the items that we would like to see in the report. So in this case, we would want to see the ear tag of the cow. We'd also put in the lactation number, and then we'll go to the next one and put in the times bred, so the number of breedings. And then we'll also see if she currently has that 5th assigned sire. We also want to filter the animals so that we only see the animals that we want to meet our criteria. So this first filter we're going to do for lactation equals 1. We're also going to add a filter for times bred being less than 5, or less than 3, sorry. And then we will also add a third filter for sire 5 doesn't contain any of sexed, so that we only get the animals that have not already been enrolled into the sexed semen protocol for sire 5. Now in this case, when we run the report, it shows up empty because we already have a running protocol on this farm that has all the cows in this criteria that have that sexed semen for sire 5. So if we were to take off this last filter, then we would have a list of cows that already have that sire 5 of sexed. Now that we have built a report for the animal criteria, we can go ahead and build the protocols that we would like to run. So we would go to Setup and then click on Protocols, and then you can scroll down to the very bottom and click on New. You want to give the protocol a name and a description, so we'll do assigned sire of sexed, and then give it a description. So, for example, to assign a sire 5 of sex to any animals that are lactation 1 and their first 4 services, and then first 3 services, sorry, and then lactation 2, the first service. And then we'll jump over to the right side of the screen and add an event under the chores side where we can assign a sire. We will click on that and set the preference to be number 5 because we want it to be sire 5, and we're going to make it an auto event. So making it an auto event means that as soon as the animal meets these criteria, that she will be enrolled into this protocol. Now what I did there is I set the options of the usage for this protocol to be management. We can also set it to be reproduction or other, and that's kind of more of an organizational tool. And then we go down to the criteria enrollments and click on that little plus sign, and we'll add the 2 reports that we built for the groups of animals that we want to show in this protocol. So since we have 2 groups of animals, it's easier to build 2 separate reports and add those 2, because then if you want to change the criteria on like the lactation 1 animals, then it's easier to change it and fix it up that way than it is to go through and change everything for one big protocol. And a good way to check to see if the protocol is set up correctly would be to click on the view that's next to each report that's under the criteria enrollments, and make sure that they're empty. So since we have, and we saw that in the last report, so since we have a filter of that sire 5 does not contain any of sexed, there shouldn't be any animals on the list that meet the criteria that are not already enrolled into the protocol. So we set up another couple protocols in a similar manner to that sex sire protocol that we just built. To save some time, I took a snapshot of the conventional protocol with one of the criteria reports for the lactation 2 animals. Note how we have a filter of number of breedings in range 2 to 5 on the report in the orange box on the right side there to contain all the breedings in that range. When a second lactation cow has had 5 recorded breedings, she will automatically be enrolled into the beef protocol, which is anything 6 and greater, to breed her to beef semen for that next breeding. So we've covered some general sire assignments, but BoviSync also supports sire matings. These can be assigned and put in manually or imported. So to manually enter assigned sires, we can go to Enter and Events, and then in the event type, we'll type in Assign Sires. So here I'll put in a cow number first, and then Assign Sire, and then we'll set the preference number to be 5. Oh, I guess we're putting the bull in first. So we want this cow to have a Sire 2 assignment of Mayflower. And then I'm going to add another cow in there just to have 2 cows right away, and we can all do that in one go. You can set the preference number to be anywhere from 1 to 5. In this case, we did 2. And then save it so that the assigned sire is saved. You can enter more than one animal at a time. As you could see, I added that second animal at the end there. If there are a lot of cows that meet a certain criteria that you would like to be assigned to a specific sire, we could do the same thing we did here. Or we can select them from a report and assign them together, or even set up a protocol to create the assignment and have it run automatically. BoviSync can also import mating files from many different companies. This is a snapshot of our knowledge base. It's at support.bovisync.com. We have a lot of articles that walk you through how to import sire matings from different companies. So if you go to the website and search for matings, it'll show a bunch of different articles that we have created for that. So when we go into the article, it'll show you the correct headers to use in the Excel file, the correct format to save the file as, which is usually a CSV file, and also it'll walk you through how to import and where to import the file in bovisync.farm. So to tie all of this assigned sire information together, I'm going to run through completing a breeding chore on the app. I showed you a snapshot of what we see on the app when we started, so now we're going to run through it from beginning to end. So we'll go into the chores side of it, and then go into the breeder list. And in this case, we're going to be working in pen 1. So here we have a list of 20 cows that are on the list for timed AI. We'll select cow 8561 and go to her detail view. Here we can see her assigned sire information, and then we'll click on a number that's up at the queue to complete the chore, and then it'll prompt us to enter the semen that we'll use, and this will run again so you can see that again. And we're going to use a semen inventory for this one. So we'll click up on a number, check the sire 1, and then we'll use that little filing cabinet, and here we have the semen inventory. So with the semen inventory, we can see the number of units left of the bull. Here, I'll just replay that video if I can here. So with the semen inventory, you can see the number of units that are left of the bull and which tank it's in. For this example, just to keep it a little simpler, I only set up 1 tank and put 4 bulls into the tank. So here, we're just looking at our information again, and then we'll click on the number at the top, and then that little filing cabinet right in the middle, and here we have our full 4 bulls that are in the tank. So if you guys are now curious where to find the semen inventory or how to set it up, if you go into Enter and then click on Semen Inventory there, you can see it'll open up on that Receive Semen Straws tab on the far left there. But I went ahead and clicked on Current Inventory so you can see what's currently in the tank, the sire, the quantity. You can also receive semen straws, so you can put more in and also put in the pricing. You can move straws around. Say you have 2 different tanks and you want to move some from a heifer tank to a cow tank. We can do that. or you realize that you haven't been doing the greatest with keeping up with your inventory when you're putting more in, so you can also adjust the inventory and put a couple more in or take a couple out. And with that being said, I'm gonna hand it over to Scott and let him talk about some of the reporting.
Okay, I'm going to get started here with sharing. Vika, how does that look? Okay. Now that Vika has showed you how to create a breeding plan and build protocols to assign which sires to use on the different cows, it would be nice to be able to run some reports to see if what you are doing is exactly coming to fruition. Genomically testing your heifers and using sex semen on the higher animals is a good way to increase the genetics of a herd. Also, using beef sires on dairy has become quite common on most dairy farms. The reports I'm going to show you will help you understand what you will be seeing in the maternity pens and how to prepare for the next 9 months. BoviSync has a herd inventory report that allows you to read the future of your herd. This report can be found not only under Reports, but also in the report map under Inventory and Culling. I have the pathways diagrammed above so you can see where to find this report. The video shows where the report is found under Reports. This report is not something you can create on your own or modify like other reports, but is a pre-built report within BoviSync utilizing actual data to show trends with inventory and culling. Use this report to see into the future your inventory of heifers, cows to dry, total milking cows, animals to freshen, number of heifer calves to be born, and number of cows expected to cull. Utilizing this screenshot of the report, I would like you to look towards the top at the numbers in the red box. Those numbers are the actual annual cull rate of the herd and the lactation groups associated with it. Those numbers help drive the numbers within the report, and you can only modify this report by clicking on the cull rates of the lactation groups. Once you change the numbers, you must refresh the report to see the new trends. The way this report shows us how our breeding plan is working is through the monthly numbers of cows to dry in the orange section and the numbers to freshen and expected number of heifer calves to be born in the green section. BoviSync has a report item called Live Dairy Heifer Probability that predicts how many calves are expected to be born based off whether sexed, conventional, or beef semen was used. Let's build a report using the Live Dairy Heifer Probability report item. And let's start with the report wizard found under Reports or Farm Reports. We want to create an animal report in a 2x2 table by using the items due date and live dairy heifer probability and putting in a filter of due date is not null. I also want to change the date display to read month year and then fetch the report. The herds I am using for this example use sexed, conventional, and beef semen, embryo implants, and ultrasounding for fetal sexing. The results I get with this report shows us the number of animals that are confirmed pregnant to the different probabilities of 0%, 48%, 86%, 96%, and nothing or null. 0 is the probability associated with an unknown bull or a jumper bull, beef semen, ultrasounded males, ultrasounded females bred to beef semen. The 0.48 is conventional semen. The 0.86 is the sex semen. 0.96 is the ultrasounded females bred to dairy or ET, or embryo transfer, and the null are the embryo implants with an unknown sex determination. For example, May of 2020 is showing us a total of 101 animals due to freshen, with 49 ultrasounded as heifers, 51 ultrasounded males or bred to beef semen, and 1 bred to conventional semen and apparently not ultrasounded yet. Another report that further utilizes the live dairy heifer probability would be an animal report using a table and aggregated by due date in a sum. I'm showing you screenshots here of the report rather than running it live to save a little time. And then also, I would add a filter of days carried calf greater or equal to 20 to only look for pregnant animals. I would also include the item of count, so I would get a comparison of the number to freshen versus the number of heifer calves expected. Number of freshen would be the red box. The number of heifer calves expected would be the green box. Like the last slide, May 2020 is showing us 101 to freshen with an approximately 47.5 calves expected to be heifers. Like I said, it's a probability. Once your breeding plans are all said and done, and the heifers are on the ground, you might want to create a report that looks back at the bulls you used to determine how successful they were at producing a female or male calf. I call this calf gender by Sire. This report is another animal report in a 2x2 table comparing calf sexes for last freshen, which is a report item, by sire of previous conception, another report item. I have filters of last freshen date greater or equal to a year ago, lactation number greater or equal to 1, and a sire of previous conception as not null. Across the top, you have the different calf gender scenarios in the last year with the sire of the calves running down the side in the yellow box. For each sire choice, there are the different calf genders with a total number of calves running down the side opposite of the sire in the blue box. The total females are surrounded by the green box, and the males or infertile females are surrounded by the red box. The orange box without a title at the top represents the abortions that happened from those sires over the past year. You could also use this report to check and see if your semen is yielding the correct percentage of heifer calves. Lastly, if you are testing for genomics, you could create an animal report giving you a list of animals with all their genomic values. In lieu of these numbers showing up on a cow card, you could use this report to view individual cow genomics, dams that have numerous daughters in the herd, and sires that are giving you a lot of daughters with high genomics. To sort these animals, type the ear tag, dam ID, or sire NAAB number into the white box of each respective column. And those animals are the only ones that will appear on the report. This genomic report could also be used to set up assigned sire protocols based off certain genomic values like net merit dollars, DWP dollars, or fat and protein, as well as times bred and lactation number like Vika showed earlier. As we wrap up this seminar, I would like to recap what BoviSync can do for you regarding a breeding program. It can give you data and allow entry cow side, help you create breeding plans using protocols and assigned sires, manage semen inventory and future herd projections, and lastly, create reports that allow you to analyze your results. Today, we used or created all animal reports for this webinar, but BoviSync also allows you to access data through event, test day, parlor, and bulk tank reports. It also allows you to export data from the web browser and set up data clients to send reports anywhere you want them. We also have some new features coming soon regarding APIs and team access. We're scheduling additional webinars, and if you could give us a comment or an email on what topics interest you, that would be great. Feel free to leave a message in the chat or contact us directly. Please like us on Facebook or follow us on our other social media pages to stay posted on additional offerings. If you have a farm that needs BoviSync, please let us know. We'd love to give them a personal demo and explain the benefits of the software. Once again, we'd like to thank you for attending this webinar. My information and Bika's information is there. We also have the support email to contact our support department with any questions. We also have a knowledge base at support.bovisync.com. These knowledge base articles will help you kind of teach yourself on how to use some of the things within BoviSync. There's also free training videos, and the web app to get onto a farm is at bovisync.farm. Does anyone have any questions at this time? I'm not seeing any questions. Clay or Bika, are you seeing anything at this time?
I don't see anything either, Scott. But like Scott said, if anyone has any more questions, feel free to reach out to us individually or shoot an email to support. We're also constantly updating our social media pages, so go ahead and follow those as well.